Brought to you by JEGS.
Hi, I'm Lake Speed Jr., Total Seal Piston Rings, and we're here today to talk about gas porting. You may not know what gas porting is, so let me explain it to you. Gas ports are essentially a way of harnessing the combustion pressures. Over 1,800 PSI of combustion pressure above the piston, harnessing that power in order to help seal the ring to the cylinder wall and the piston for better efficiency and less blow-by, less oil contamination, better overall performance. That's the goal of gas porting. Let me explain how that works. This crude drawing behind me is of a cylinder wall, a piston, and the green, that's the piston ring. In a normal functioning engine, there's about 1,800 PSI of gas pressure above the piston, driving the piston down. Those forces are so great, it wants to blow right by the ring. So the tension on the ring itself isn't enough to actually create the seal. So what you do is you use this vertical clearance above the ring to get the gas pressure in order to help push the ring out to get better ring seal. The idea of these gas ports is like opening the faucet, letting more gas pressure flow from above the piston behind the ring to force the ring out to seal better. That's the goal of gas porting. It's been around since the 1970s. It's super efficient. Every race engine that is allowed to be used uses gas port to effectively assist and seal the rings to the cylinder wall for better performance and longevity and durability. So the advantage of gas porting is utilizing those combustion pressures, opening that faucet to get better ring seal, better performance, better durability, better oil life for your engine. Now, there are some drawbacks to gas porting a piston because you're putting a hole in the piston. So in the next video, we're going to talk about the advantages of using gas ports in the piston ring instead. In the first video, we covered how gas porting is an effective way to harness those combustion pressures of over 1,800 PSI in order to achieve better ring seal and efficiency for your engine. Now, we talked about in the first video how the traditional method for doing that is by putting gas ports in the piston itself. And the downside of that is you're actually putting a hole in the piston. Here at Total Seal, we've taken a different approach to utilizing the effectiveness of gas porting. As opposed to having gas ports in the piston, you can now have gas ports in the piston ring. And there's a few advantages for doing that. First off, you're putting a hole in the weakest part of the piston. The valve relief pocket by the top ringland is the weakest area of the piston, and if you put a gas port near there, you're just making that area weaker. Number two is gas ports tend to get dirty over time. And there's two reasons for that. The first reason is the piston isn't rotating around and it shouldn't be contacting the face of the cylinder wall to keep it clean. Number two is the piston itself is made out of aluminum, and the detergents and motor oil typically aren't as effective on aluminum as they are steel. Guess what? The gas ported ring is made out of steel. That way, the detergents and the motor oil can keep the ring clean. Also, the piston ring is in contact with the cylinder wall the whole time and is rotating, so it's self-cleaning. Gas-ported piston rings are more effective than gas-ported pistons. Number one, a gas-ported ring maintains the integrity of the piston because you're not putting a hole in the weakest part of the piston. Number two, it's self-cleaning. Because the piston ring is in contact with the cylinder bore and rotating around, it's self-cleaning, and the detergent additives and the motor oil are going to be more effective on something made out of steel than something made out of aluminum. Another great benefit of gas-ported piston rings is the fact that now you can add gas porting technology to a stock piston without gas ports. All you have to do is just swap your ring set. In fact, you could even just swap the top ring and go to a gas-ported top ring, and now your stock piston without gas ports can have all the benefits of gas porting technology without having to get new pistons.
Brought to you by JEGS. Fast Delivery. Your source for high performance and quality. Delivering performance since 1960. JEGS.com.